I bet you got a good one for you. Have you ever thought about mulching your plants on the top with Mardi Gras beads? Why would you do that? I'll tell you why in a second. Cool. So this is my kitchen window, and today I'm going to drop in a couple little clips I just did here. One is going to be talking about nature. Get your brain going on that. The second one's going to be a little bit on mint because I am growing mint like mad. I brought them in, they were that big, and they just took off. And the last one is the most fun of all, the Mardi Gras beads. So let's take a look, and then we'll come back and I'll show you all of the Mardi Gras beads. And pay attention to the video because I took the Mardi Gras beads out and now I put them back in. Notice how light it is? We'll be right back on that subject. Now what I want you to do is watch nature. Watch things around you. Watch things that you do and pay attention. This back here is turmeric. See that? It's still growing. It's been growing all winter. Notice where it is. We'll come back to that. Now as you come across here, yes, I've got a lot of little things going. I don't know if you remember, think back, I had my ginger growing there. Now ginger and turmeric are very similar, but the ginger died right away. As soon as winter hit and it got cold, it died. Yet the turmeric kept going. Now step back and look. Now what do you see that maybe you weren't paying attention to? I wasn't at first. Look at my window. Let's see if you can really see that. See where I have the hook out there so I cannot close my window. I have to stuff paper in there or something because it'll get a really good seal on a cold night. That creates a breeze right through the window there. Where the hook is out the window, because I can't close the window unless I pulled everything down, that small breeze right in here is what did in my ginger. But this is in the corner, and that's a sealed corner. There's no window opening there because that's not where the window opens. That's why that grew, and that's why the ginger passed on as soon as the weather got cold. So you look at little things. So sometimes taking a seedling and just taking some thin plastic, look at this, and wrapping it around and just dropping it on a cup, look at that, can really help a seedling to grow. Why? It's the draft, the bottom part of the plant. That's where it knows what temperature it is. Not so much the top leaves, but the bottom part. So if you just protect the base of the plant, a lot of times you can get something to grow when it's not supposed to grow. Think about all the things you do and sometimes wondering why it will grow in one spot and not another. It might just be the lip of the pot protecting. Look at all the seedlings coming up here. Things I just throw in there as I'm cooking. Peppers and stuff. They're protected by the rim of a pot. That's why a lot of my totes, I don't fill them to the very top. I give it protection. And that's why a lot of plants do good. So think about it if you're struggling. What can you do to fix things? And look very hard. Take your time. And you might find a little crack that you just didn't think of might be the reason why your plants, or whatever you're doing, isn't growing. Now you can grow mint in the house. This is chocolate mint. It is growing in the house. Look at how big and vigorous this thing is. Now I do plan as soon as the weather gets warm to put it outside because right now mint is not growing that good because it doesn't like the cold weather. As soon as it gets warm, it just takes off. Well, these were little nothing cuttings. This was stuff I brought in to use in, let's say, my coffee or whatever. Now, let me tell you this that you may or may not notice. When you grow mint on a windowsill, though it smells real good and it's beautiful, it's not going to be as strong as when it's growing outside. It's still good, but I'm going to say the flavor and the intensity that you're used to can be diminished by about a quarter. So even though you're growing it in the house, which is fabulous, and it's still getting the nutrients and everything you need from it, think about getting some of it outside when the weather's warm, and you'll see it will strengthen up and it will smell and taste so much better. But let me tell you something, this has been a dream to come over here, grab some leaves and throw it in my coffee pot to add some mint flavoring to my coffee. Isn't that fun? And like I said, these were tiny nothing cuttings. See? Let's take a look inside. Look at this. I just stuck some sticks in there and it took off. There is a mushroom plant in there as well. That will be going outside as soon as the weather's warm. And think about places you can grow things. I just put a pole on the top and started hanging. Not from this one, because that's a tension rod. If you hang too much on a tension rod, well, it will give away. But on the top, I've got corners there and it's holding everything up. So this way I've got a strong pole that I can actually hang things on. But this has been fun. This is just a plastic container covered in, you know what, the fabric, the way I do it. Flower pot with some potting soil in there, potting mix, so I can throw seeds in there. This I'm doing root cuttings off of a tomato plant that's growing so good on the deck. I thought, well, of course, I want to get, you know, when you're trimming the bottom, because you don't want the bottom in the soil. So I trimmed the bottom of the branches that were coming up, the shoots, the suckers on the bottom. Just the bottom, because I don't trim a lot of my tomato plants. But those, I put in a little, look at this little spice bottle. It works out so good. Aluminum foil, reflection, keep that in mind. Mardi Gras beads, same thing. Reflection, it reflects light back onto the plants. I always keep my Mardi Gras beads. So when you go to the Mardi Gras and you get your beads, you go, what are you going to do with it afterwards? Put it in your plants. It will add so much beautiful light to your plants and give it so much more reflection. Look at it, because look at the beads. Look how they sparkle. The whole thing all the way around grabs the light and it really does help the plants. So I hope I gave you something to think about. And a lot of you have noticed, I see beads in your plants. Periodically you've asked, and I haven't gotten to it. And I did tell you I use it for mulch. Well, there it is. Look how they sparkle. Any light gets on it, they will just sparkle. See the sparkle? Think about each bead just quickly grabs the light and pushes it all the way around. It actually creates extra light for your plants, whether it's a house plant or whether it's vegetable plants you're starting. I have been using Mardi Gras beads for quite a few years now. And keep in mind, you can buy them at the thrift store. You can buy them cheap for parties, you know, party stores, and you can cut them. They don't fall apart. There's no beads falling all over because each one is individually put on the strand. They work fantastic. So I hope I've given you some fun ideas on what you could do with your Mardi Gras beads. Maybe growing mint in your window, as well as just thinking about nature. With that, have a wonderful day. I'm not going outside yet to do gardening. It is too much to move around soil. Look at the birds and their feeder and everything. We have been raining for weeks, so I'm working inside, and I thought, you know, I'm just going to give you something to think about while I'm getting the inside and seeds done and things out of the rain, and maybe it'll give you some food for thought. And I put my strawberry there for now because the strawberry plant that I'm rooting doesn't mind the cold weather, but everything else may not like that breeze coming through the window. With that, have a wonderful day. Give me your thoughts, what you think about Mardi Gras beads and what you're growing as far as mint or anything, and thinking about growing something on your windowsill if you've got enough light. Now, I don't get a ton of sun in here because you could probably almost see outside. I've got an eave there, but I get enough reflective light, whether it's from aluminum foil, just light reflecting in, or Mardi Gras beads. I want to hear your thoughts, and I'm going to read through them. With that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. That is not for reflection. That is to try to keep that feeder out of the rain because the hummingbirds love that feeder on the end. So hopefully we'll stop raining in a few weeks. We have 2 more storms coming. Bye-bye.